It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk about taxes and money and things to make you do better, we hope, financially. If you have any questions relative to tax returns you haven't filed, anything that we're talking about, if it has to do with money, in your late refunds, if you haven't filed, 803-0930 is our phone number, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And I got my two compadres in with me, Christopher Fabian.
Hello, Esther.
Hey, Christopher, and Tiffany Fabian.
Hey there, Esther. How are you doing today?
Good. And we have a special guest. For those of you that don't know, which is probably most of you, every year I volunteer at Kingdom Bound, and Chris and Tiff volunteer with us. And our friends, Dawn and Trevor Sheldon, have come in from Florida, and they're volunteering with us as well. And what was so great, based upon what we're going to talk about today, my very good friend Trevor Sheldon, who's from Florida, who is a mortgage professional, we're going to talk about mortgages today, has joined us in studio too. So hey, Trev.
Hey, Esther.
It's
a pleasure to be
cool.
here.
And he's now you guys in Buffalo, you know, we think it's hot. They think it's like, wow, it's so cool here.
I got no reaction when I said, isn't it hot here? I got no reaction.
But only 80% humidity. That's great, right?
Hey, it's frosty here. I'm telling you.
So anyway, we're going to talk about the whole theme of today is opportunities knocking. And, you know, they say to be a success, it's really timing. And so now's the time to do some things based upon market conditions. Now, if you're looking for a high interest yield in a CD, this is not your time, right? But what is our time is the fact that interest rates are so low. And so if you're somebody that has a mortgage or a home equity credit line, what would you say, Trev? At what rate should somebody start looking at refinancing?
Well, many times it's just even 1%, but it depends on how long you're going to be in the home and what your current situation is. Many people have been in these loans since before the crisis, and some are even in 40-year loans. You can lower your term, you can lower your rate, you can get a cash out for lowering debt. And high interest debt that you have.
Trevor, I have so many clients, I'll say to them, you should refinance. And they're like, yeah, but I don't think I'm going to have this mortgage for much longer. But if they're going to have it for at least 5 more years, I mean, you take pen to paper, right? And you do the numbers.
Absolutely. It really depends on their situation, how long they're going to be there. You really need to speak to somebody, a mortgage professional, about it, because there are so many opportunities. I have a customer right now that I'm saving $600 a month by refinancing. And I lowered her term by 10 years. So that's a perfect situation.
Now, let me just say this, just in case you think Trevor is trying to drum up business. He's not, because he's licensed in Florida, and he's not licensed in New York State. He's just talking about because our whole thing on Ask the Tax Lady is to make sure that everyone knows that we're here to save you money, right? So the first thing is, the obviously, if you don't own a home, now is a great time to buy it. Yep. Trevor, what rate are people looking at on average?
Well,
if they have good, let's say, credit scores over 750.
If you're over 750 right now, we're at historic lows for 30-year fixed rates and even ARM products. A 3.571 ARM, they are historic lows right now. Anywhere between 3 3/8 to 4 1/4, depending on your situation.
And so if you or your children, let's say you have kids that just got married, and they're renting, you know, there are all kinds of ways to get. There's FHA products, right? FHA, you have to put 3% down.
3.5%.
Very minimal, right?
Right.
Yeah, 3.5% on FHA, and there is Fannie Mae products right now that are 97% that are very beneficial, getting people into homes. It's so much cheaper to own a home right now than it is to rent. There was just an article about that, in the newspaper saying on a national level how much more expensive it is right now to rent than it is to own a home. Yeah,
and,
to buy a home.
And let's say your kids were in the military.
Oh,
then you got the VA loan, right?
Absolutely. VA 100% finance, a great program. Just go and get your COE, your certificate of eligibility, and you're set. And it's a great program.
And I know with FHA, there's a little bit more latitude with your credit too, right?
Absolutely. It goes down to a 580 credit score.
Wow.
So people many times think, I've had a credit event, I can't get into a home. But right now, you really have to speak to somebody because there is opportunities. There's been a lot of changes in the marketplace and with the mortgage business period, new regulations that protect the consumer. So it's a good situation.
I know one thing, it's a seller's market right now, and a lot of homes are really expensive in some neck of the woods and around here. And so in FHA, they put plateaus on how much of a mortgage you can get. And so that's, do you see that changing, Trevor? Do you see them?
Well, it really depends on your local market. Say where we are, we go to 448 for a conventional conforming, which is a government product.
Is Marco Island, Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Here it's
so I don't think there is a house on Marco Island for
It's
448.
probably 427 here is I think the national level, where's the level you can go to and still be that type of loan. Conventional conforming loan would be $427,000. So
all right,
here
and then the other thing you can do, there's something called an FHA. I think it's a 401k or 403k or something. It's something with a K, but where you can actually buy the house and build in the money to rehab it into that loan.
That's
absolutely
cool.
Yes, a rehab loan, absolutely. Besides the FHA product, there is a Fannie Mae product now that is very comparable also, that even a lower barrier to enter the program. It's a great program to rehab. You can finance in, a certain percentage of the amount of the home, and you look at the future value of the home, and that's what you're looking at when you finance it. So
that's cool.
I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're talking about opportunity knocking, how to make lemonade out of lemons. And it is true that the interest rates that you're going to get on your bank accounts is not much, but on the flip side, the mortgage rates are remarkable. And if you want help, you'd like to call Trevor here. He's from Caliber Home Loans in Florida. He's not selling anything because he's not even from Buffalo. But if you're wondering about refinancing, how much are conventional loans? How much do I have to put back down? This is a great opportunity to really buy a house that you may never have been able to afford before. Another thing you should look at is maybe you have a mortgage that's maybe only $75,000, and maybe it's a high interest rate, maybe 5 or 6 or 7%. You can actually take out that mortgage by doing a home equity credit line, and the truth is you'd have no closing costs at all. So that's another thing that you can do. Or maybe you talking about Florida, maybe you realize that somewhere down the pike here, about 5 months from now, it's going to be snowing, and you're going to wish that you had a house in Florida. Let's talk about that second house, Trev.
Oh, absolutely. The rates, as you said, are historically low, and that's for all programs. So if you're getting a second home, many times, depending on where you're homesteading, whether it be here or in Florida, it could be considered similarly to your primary residence. Now, if it's an investment property, you're going to rent it out, then that's another product. But the rates, again, are very, very good for those programs.
So if it's a second home, all right? Mm-hmm. All right, but actually, we got to take a break. But this is what we're going to do. Talk about on the other side. Let's say that you want to go and get a house in Florida. Mm-hmm. How much would you have to put down if it's your second home, not rented, versus a rental property? I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side with our special guest, Trevor Sheldon from Caliber Home Loans, and your calls.
Did you receive a letter from the IRS or New York State taking money out of your pension to pay debts, thinking of retiring, got married, had children? Who can you turn to make all the right decisions for taxes so that you don't end up in a financial mess come next tax season? EG Tax is here to guide you and be in your corner all year long. Call 632-7886 today. Again, 632-7886. and come join our family. 632-7886.
Barbecue season is here. Wentz Propane and Oil will fill your propane tank for only $10. You can also ask about their new customer pricing for next year's heating season. Mention EG Tax and get your discount today. Call 731-9826 or 731-3015.
Attention real estate investors. Thinking of selling investment property? Pay no tax. Call R.J. Gullo Companies, qualified intermediaries for 1031 exchanges and real estate investment specialists. For a free consultation on how to pay no tax when selling investment property, call 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com. That's 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com.
This is Attorney Dennis Kitchen. How is your credit score? If you can't keep up with monthly payments, that can hurt your credit score. This might be a good time to talk to an attorney about getting a fresh start. I've been helping people with their debts for 40 years, and I never charge for an initial consultation regarding debt problems. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
For a free consultation regarding debts, call Attorney Dennis Kitchen at 716-631-5661. Looking to redo your kitchen or bathroom countertops without spending a fortune? Well, look no further. The Granite Shop has it all. Granite, quartz, and marble, with prices starting as low as $39.99. Mention EG Tax, and your sink cutout is free. Their showroom is located at 2045 Niagara Falls Boulevard in Niagara Falls, New York. Call the Granite Shop, 402-1046, or visit online at graniteshop1.com. That's 402-1046 for the Granite Shop.
That's what the IRS says, but not us. I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we're kind of talking about how to make lemonade out of lemons and some of the things you should be looking at this time of year, or actually this time in our country, because with interest rates being so low, turn it into a blessing, especially if you're sitting there with a high interest loan mortgage, a high interest home equity, or maybe you aren't even a homeowner, or maybe you would like to buy that second home someplace down south, so that someplace without the S word, the four-letter S word that we're so accustomed to in Western New York. And I have in studio with me Trevor Sheldon. He is a mortgage specialist with Kellenberg Home Loans. And Trev, we were talking before the break about how much you'd need to do on a second home owner-occupied.
A second home owner-occupied, absolutely. On investment property, you could usually only go to 80%, but there are programs that allow you to go to 85%. Very few, but some programs even higher on a second home. They'll go to 90%.
I presume you'd have to have really stellar credit.
Yes, absolutely, you would. Absolutely, you would. And there's
so 10%. So you're saying that 10 or 15% down. Yes. So if you're buying a $200,000 house, you'd need $25,000, $30,000 down on a second.
On a second.
Now,
home.
what if it's a rental property?
Yeah, an investment property. Now, those will go no higher than 80%. You have to come in with 20% down. So if you don't have 20% on an investment property, that'd be a more difficult situation. But a second home, you can come in with less because it is a second home. But an investment property, we're going to have to consider rents. It's a higher risk.
And I will tell you, this time of year, while it's hot, you think to yourself, I don't care about that Florida house or the Alabama house or wherever. But I'm going to tell you, the snow season is coming, and now's a great time. Talk about making lemonade out of lemons. This is the time of year you want to buy a house in Florida, right? There's not too many people even shopping right now, right?
Absolutely. It is a buyer's market right now because it is the summer, so it's not high season. It's not the time that everybody's there. It's a great time to be shopping for homes and making offers on homes right now.
That's true.
And
I
will
tell you, because if I go to Florida, actually this time of year, tennis shoes melt into the sidewalk. So it is a great time to look for a house. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And let's go to Tony. Hey, Tony, how can we help you?
Tony.
Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, sweetie pie?
Well, I'm melting.
Melting.
It's well over 90 up here where I am, and last night we slept in a tent outside the house because, and
Cool.
it's just one of those things. But my question is very simple. If a person gets refinancing their home, and they're elderly, and they die, I was told by watching television program that loan, it's a loan. It just becomes a loan, and it has to be repaid somehow. Now, somebody for that loan that's been out.
Right. So Tony, what they would do is sell the house and pay off the loan with the proceeds of the sale.
Right. Well, then in actuality, I also listened to somebody else on one of those CNBC shows, and they said never get involved in refinancing, and I find that hard to believe. That
now maybe somebody was talking about the reverse mortgage, because that's another product for seniors where they can take equity out of the house and actually they can pay off their first mortgage, take equity out, and either do it on a monthly basis, annual basis, or take out the whole thing altogether. And then what happens is upon when the last person leaves the house, that's when it has to be repaid. And again, they'll sell it, and there's also a life insurance feature with the reverse mortgage.
And Tony, let me ask Trevor. I think, Trevor, there used to be a time when there were a lot of fees with refinancing, but are the fees a lot less today than they were?
Well, there are fees that are out of the lender's control that are government fees and recording taxes, etc. But I'd say they're very competitive right now as far as fees across the board that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But one thing to consider when you're talking about that, and as an elderly person, many times they think, well, I'm not going to add, I don't want to add time to my loan by refinancing. Say I want to re-amortize it over 30 years. I only have 20 years left. Why would I refinance? Well, here's the reason why you would do that if it made financial sense. The reason you would do that is if, let's say that I only had 20 years left on my loan. I refinanced it, so now I'm in a 30-year loan again. But you're making so much of a lower payment and you're making those savings. What you can do is take that additional savings and apply it directly to principal. That's going to pay your loan off so much faster. There's so many amortization tables you can look at online and saying what additionally you pay on top of your regular payment will go directly towards principal, and it's a great way to pay off your loan faster.
So let me ask you this, Tony. Do you have a mortgage?
no, I'm all set with that.
All right, good enough. Well, I hope you stay cool tonight, Tony.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on cell phone, and we have Larry. Hey, Larry, how y'all doing?
Oh, Esther, doing good. Esther, a couple things. One, and you guys may know this already, there's a website you can go on, and it's on the IRS, and find out the amount of your refund, or find out when it's going to be sent.
Right.
I don't know how current that's kept. You might know.
It's like a once a week type update there, Larry.
Oh, okay, nice. My second question, more important, is that I got this letter from the IRS the other day. It's a 5071. Are you guys familiar with that?
What is it saying, Larry?
Sure. About my identity.
Oh, no.
Oh.
So you might have become a victim of identity theft. We need to see that, Larry.
Did you receive your refund for 15, Larry?
I haven't received nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
so, oh, yay.
Yeah. So it sounds like you might have been a victim of identity theft. So what we need to do, Larry, is contact the IRS on your behalf. So if you could call us Monday so we could have that letter.
There's an
affidavit.
affidavit.
And we'll fill out everything, the affidavit for you, okay?
Guys, I'll call you first thing.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Have a good weekend.
God.
Bye-bye.
Poor Larry. And it's on the rise. Identity theft is on the rise with the IRS. It's like a big. They did.
Well, the fraudulent calling is just astronomical.
That's
we get
true.
tons of calls every day on that too.
And so let me address that. fraudulent calling means that you are home, the phone rings, and they say, this is the Internal Revenue Service, this is the state of New York, we need you to pay $3,000 right now, or we're going to sue you and come take your firstborn, and we're going to kidnap your husband, and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, they don't say that, but it's all a scam. The other day, for the first time, I heard somebody say it was New York State that was calling.
Oh, very nifty.
So,
They're getting crafty.
They don't deal with you that way. So you have to, when you, even though it sounds official, and actually most of them have very pronounced accents, let's put it that way. You want to make sure that you just hang up the phone. If you want, you can call EG Tax, and Chris and Tiff, we have a number to call to turn that in, right?
There is, right on the IRS website. It's the, who do they want? The attorney.
The fraud prevention. There's that line. There's also, you can call the local FBI. There,
It's right on the IRS website. And then also,
but don't fall victim.
I want to address Larry's topic. If somebody did steal his identity, that means somebody used his Social Security number in another return somehow, and they used his Social Security number to yield to their benefit. And so we will help him fix this.
Absolutely. And again, if anybody who has had their identity stolen, or you haven't gotten your refund, maybe the reason you haven't gotten your refund is that the IRS thinks that your refund's already been paid because somebody else has used your identity. So again, EG Tax will help you with that. You can go to our website at egtax.com, and we will be very happy to help you.
And then going forward, Larry, you're going to have a PIN that you're going to use. So no longer will they be able to just use your social. They've got to use their social and a
the PIN number,
which
right.
they don't have.
Okay, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We're talking about taking advantage of current market conditions to do the best for you. And I will tell you, life is all about planning. And so if you're supposed to pick up a train at 1 o'clock and you wait till 1:30 and the train left the station, you got nobody to blame but yourself. And I will tell you right now, interest rates, you're not going to get much in the way of interest rates in a CD, but you are going to get great interest rates for buying real estate. We have a real estate professional, mortgage professional in studio here, Trevor Sheldon, and he's from Florida, so he's not selling anything, just information. So if you have any questions, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to go back to Rick. Hey, Rick, how can we help you?
I'm doing good. I have a question regarding a home equity loan.
Yeah.
Situation is as follows. I own my primary residence and have a mortgage on that. And then my wife and I own a second property. It was my parents' property, but we own it outright with no rent or no money due on it, or we don't owe anybody. We have tenants in there that are good. We have played with the idea, but the banks have always kind of told us not going to happen, of taking some kind of a home equity line or loan against that home simply because we own it, to use that money for other things we have going on in terms of like investing in our business and that kind of thing. Is that an option on today's market? Is there a sector that would make that kind of loan?
Absolutely. There is, considering you own it outright, the only challenge normally somebody would have is if we only go to a certain amount on an invested property, as far as the amount that would be financed, but you own it outright, so you have all the equity in the property already. So absolutely, you could get a home equity line or do a mortgage on it that would be a cash out, first-time financing because you do own it outright already. But you can get up to usually 80%. So, or 75, it's investment property for cash out.
And kind of to build on that, Rick, what you want to do is you really have to weigh that, what the cost of the mortgage is going to be against what you're going to do with the money to see. And for that, you really kind of got to put a pencil to the entire situation.
All right. We own a small business that's basically, it's growing faster than we have the money to grow with. It's a good problem. But
it is a good problem.
So we just kind of wanted, so who would now my bank, I deal with just a traditional community bank. When I talked to them, they kind of were like, no, we don't do that. And it was something we kind of just had been thinking about. Who would you, like what?
Will Citicorp do that, Trev? Do you know Citibank?
Oh yeah, Citicorp will do that.
Locally maybe KeyBank.
Yeah.
One of the larger banks.
The larger
right?
banks will do it.
Yeah, I know Chris and I sometimes will use cross-state funding. It's a mortgage broker. One question I had for you, Trevor, the break.
We're going to hold that till after the break. Rick, thanks for calling. Okay. I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady. We're going to take a short news break. Join you on the other side. 8030930 star 930 on a cell phone. We're talking money. We want to help you.
Your voice, your vote. The Democratic ticket is set. Hillary Clinton introducing her running mate, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, who she says is a lot like her.
We both grew up in the Midwest. We were raised by fathers who ran small businesses and who taught us about the dignity of work and the discipline of a job well done.
They appeared together today at a rally in Miami, Florida. Kaine, a former governor and Democratic National Committee chair, is also the son-in-law of a former Republican governor who integrated schools in Virginia. And he went right to work going after Republican nominee Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is the you're fired guy. That's what he's known for. And when this whole campaign is done and everybody's forgotten it, the one thing they will remember about Donald Trump is you're fired.
Trump has criticized Kaine for, among other things, his support of the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade agreement. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Now that April 18th is gone, you may be thinking that tax season is over. But at EG Tax, we think it is never over. And now it's money season. Our belief is to keep money in your pocket where it belongs. Call us today for reviewing, tax planning, or even still to prepare your return. Call 632-7886 today. Again, 632-7886. And come join our family, 632-7886.
When Esther updated her kitchen and bathroom, she chose the Granite Shop. They were reasonable, professional, and best of all, they were done in less than 2 weeks. Can't ask for anything more. The Granite Shop offers countertops in granite, quartz, and marble. Call 402-1046 or online at graniteshop1.com. Their showroom is located at 2045 Niagara Falls Boulevard in Niagara Falls, New York. When you call or visit, mention EG Tax and your sink cutout is free. Call the Granite Shop today, 402-1046. Attention real estate investors. Thinking of selling investment property? Pay no tax. Call R.J. Gullo Companies, qualified intermediaries for 1031 exchanges and real estate investment specialists. For a free consultation on how to pay no tax when selling investment property, call 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com. That's 675-1500 or online at rjgullo.com.
In the nation, they go by Guardian, Lifesaver, and Friend. At Nationwide Insurance, we just call them agents. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation that cares.
Nationwide is on your side.
I have an insurance agent who cares. That's why Bill Barber has been my agent for 15 years. For any insurance needs, call Bill. 688-2199.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Subject to underwriting guidelines, review, and approval.
Boy, I like that kind of music. I love country music. I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady from EG Tax, and we're talking about taking advantage of current market conditions to make you better financially, right? And we've kind of talked about mortgages and second mortgages and refinancing. And if you have any questions about that, you can join the conversation. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We have a mortgage expert in studio, but we're going to kind of move on. Oh yeah, you had a question here.
Yeah, Rick was asking about the second mortgage for his investment property. And so my question, Trevor, is can you get an FHA for a second piece of property that you have?
No, you cannot do that with an FHA.
Okay, so your credit is really important. Your credit is important all the time.
Oh yeah, you have to. Your credit has to qualify.
But FHA just won't do it.
Right, yeah. right. I know. And so when you go to conventional, your credit is more of a topic of discussion. And I know Chris and we were talking to somebody, and they said that there's ways you can fix your credit and repair your credit. That you can pay down things, and there's a fast action repair notification that they can let the credit bureaus know of. Chris, how does that go?
Right, just like you said.
Oh, just like I said. So what is that? You can, like, say you have a lot of credit card debt, you can pay off some of your credit card debt.
Absolutely. If somebody most vendors and lenders, what they have is a program. If you come in and they pull your credit, they have your credit report and there's some issues there, there's a rapid rescore program that most of them do. And what happens is all you do is say you pay something down or something isn't accurate, for example, is you bring that new information, the new documentation, they rerun your credit, and even before rerunning it, you could do a scenario and look at to see how much that's going to improve your credit score, which is how you qualify for certain loan programs. Is definitely based on your credit score.
Rapid repair.
Yeah, rapid rescore or repair,
Is
absolutely.
that
is a
like
program.
Botox?
Okay, so yeah, well, that's I suppose. But okay, so that's like we were talking about. Everything is timing. Another thing is right now taking advantage of market conditions is what does your credit look like? I mean, how many times do I'll be online and it'll say your credit score is available, and how many times do you really want to look at your credit score? But
Right.
it's really important because there can be things on there that somebody could have opened a credit card in your name, like poor Larry from Georgia might be a victim of identity theft, and they could have opened up and somebody's got a credit card in your name that's on your credit
I
report.
think there's an app. It's called creditkarma.com. It's free of charge, and it's great.
Well, actually, there is only one absolutely free credit report, and it's called annualcreditreport.org or .com.
And you can do that
Yeah,
annually.
one credit report from all three bureaus annually you can get. So you should, if you don't have any type of credit monitoring, you should definitely do that
So that's
every year. Free annual
report.
Annual credit report.
.com. Free annualcreditreport.com.
Right. And there's many others that say that they are free, but they usually are looking for.
And you know, the thing is, if you don't know how to read your credit report, you can, and that's another thing that we do this time of year. We kind of become, we put on multiple hats at EG Tax because we're not doing a lot of tax returns. We do a number of them every day, but the bottom line is, part of what we do is we help you with your finances, we help you with budgeting, and if you bring in your credit report, we'll help you to read it.
Yep.
But if you have something that says 30 days, 90 days late, that's not good. Because that means that they didn't get your payment. It was interesting. I looked at my own credit report and I had a 30-day late, and I flipped out and I thought I'd never pay anything late. But I have 2 loans at Ford Credit in my company, and I sent in 1 check. And they took the voucher and they
Allocate
put
it.
the whole thing on the one rather than the other. So then I called them up and I said, you know, I read them the right act. They fixed it, you know,
Yeah.
and that's very important because that can mess up your credit
Yeah,
score.
you have to take action. I know. Chris we had a 30-day late, and we wrote a letter, and it's resolved. And
Right,
that was
and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You write the letter and it gets resolved.
Yeah.
You can dispute it online now also. You can go online with that free annual report, and you can make any disputes of anything that's not accurate. And it forces whoever the creditor is to either address and say this is legitimate or it isn't,
Or it
and then
gets
fix
fixed.
it.
How fast does that happen, Trev?
That happens within 30 days.
Okay, but it does take the 30 days.
Yes.
So let's say you run you run somebody's credit, and let's say that it's not what they want it to be, and they say, well, these 3 things on my aren't correct. Would you say for them to wait on doing the loan then until it's straightened out?
Well, no. If it is inaccurate information, what we can do is what we just mentioned earlier, and most lenders can do this. They can do a rapid rescore. We can take the documentation that proves the fact that this is inaccurate, and you could immediately get a new score, and that could be addressed immediately. See if with the lender, if you've already pulled the credit with them, they can address that with this, because otherwise you'd have to pull a whole nother report, and that would take 30 days. But these rapid rescore programs allow you to do that. They allow you to immediately address the issue and get rescored.
How much does that cost, the rapid rescore?
I don't know with local lenders here with us, it doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
All right, so if you're somebody that's wondering about refinancing, if you're thinking about a first-time home purchase, refinancing your personal loan, doing a home equity credit line, and which reminds me, if you are paying 25% on credit cards and you have equity in your house and you want to get rid of those credit cards, don't go to your employer and take money out of your 401k. You're going to pay, if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you're going to pay a penalty plus income taxes, state and federal. That's not good. It's like going to a loan shark. It's a horrible way to do it. But I'll tell you, if doing a home equity credit line on your mortgage for maybe $10,000 to pay off those credit cards.
Not to mention your high student loans.
Right, or high student loans. Great plan. But the whole thing is, it's all got to be a plan, right?
Right, got to do it.
I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we got Chris from North Tonawanda. Hi, Chris.
How's it going?
Good. What's new?
Tons of things. Yeah, so the reason I'm calling, you know, my girlfriend's a single mom. We live together, but she owns a house. She's paying around probably 5.5%. Her credit score is over 800. I've mentioned it to her. She seems, you know, a little slow to it, but she wants to do something like that. But I think she's probably, because of her situation, is needing something more along the lines of a no-fee refinance. So can you tell me about some of the options that are available?
Or no fee, Trevor?
Nothing in pocket where she can take advantage of it.
Well, something that you should understand with refinance is you can always wrap the fees into the loan. There's always going to be, a home equity loan, if she is getting that would be a second mortgage. If she already has a first, you can do a home equity loan as a second mortgage.
Yeah.
Or if you don't owe anything on the home, then of course that could be home equity in first position. But far as no fee loans, the home equity loan is usually the only one that's offering no fees, because
So, Chris, how much? I'm sorry, Trev, to step on you, but how much does she owe, Chris? Do you know?
Well, she's been in it about 4 years, 5 years. You know, when you look at the mortgage repayment structure for principal and interest, I mean, it's kind of scary how
But what do you know? What she borrowed originally?
I'm going to probably say she borrowed around 65.
So she'd be a perfect candidate for a refi on a home equity, right?
It's important to know also that no matter what, if she did a home equity or if she did a cash out or just a rate and term refinance, those fees would be wrapped into the loan. There'd be no out-of-pocket fees. The fees would be wrapped it would be added to the total balance of the loan. So there's no out-of-pocket fees on a refinance. But of course, home equity loan they're usually, like as Esther said,
higher, but they're free, but they're a higher rent.
Higher rate.
I can say, Chris, what you're telling me right now, I hear time and time again from my clients, and I think what you really got to do is take pen to paper. Chris and I refinanced once, and our eyes just about bulged out of our head when we saw how much we saved, the little bit of fees, but the interest rate over the lifetime was astronomical. So I think she's got to get her head wrapped around that. Would you agree, Chris?
Right. You got to look at what the current interest rate she's paying. I mean, it may just come down to something simple where she's just making $500 extra principal payment a month or $300 extra principal, because that will take care of a lot of the loan itself right there with the interest. Right, Trevor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the best way
Chris.
to go.
I mean, what you're talking about with your girlfriend is what happens all the time when you're talking to people about their money. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Unfortunately, life is timing. And right now, this is the best time for her to take a look at refinancing. When you said her credit score is 800, I thought Trevor's eyes were going to fall out of his head.
Take advantage.
That's a great credit score.
It's excellent. So she's been getting the best programs, absolutely the best possible programs.
And I will tell you, we will help you at EG Tax, and if you want, we'll even let you talk to Trevor. He's a good guy. He'll be back in Florida here on Monday. But I mean, there are great companies locally that will help her do a refi, but you can't make her do it, even though you want to help her.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Good
I'm
question.
Esther Galias, the tax lady. 8030930, 80308. I don't know what it is.
8030930.
Star 930 on a cell phone. Okay. Wanted to also talk about, does your employee? All right. This is all about timing. Do you work for an employer that offers a pension plan? Oh, you do? Are you in the plan? Is there an employer match? So, if you aren't in the plan, your employer can't match.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
So, looking at timing, let's say that you have a job making $30,000 a year, and the employer says, I'll do a 3% match. So that means if you put how much money in? $900 in?
Right, 30,000.
If you put in $900, the employer will match $900. Now you have $1,800, which is completely tax deferred until you take it out. And if you're not in it, you cannot win it. I've heard that before, right?
That's a good one. It's a good one.
So if your company has a pension plan, especially if there's an employer match, you should make sure Monday you toddle on down to your HR department and get signed up.
Yeah, because boy, I can't tell you I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it, but it never gets done. You got to do it before the time keeps on clicking along.
Absolutely right. Another thing you want to take a look at is energy credits. You know, this time of Christmas.
Christmas in July.
Yeah, right. But I mean, there are energy credits on renewable solar heat. There are energy credits on electronic vehicles, and as more and more people are feeling more comfortable with electric vehicles, some of those credits are remarkable.
Yep. There's metal roofs. I've been driving down the roads, and I see more and more people with metal roofs. They last a long time.
Right.
And there's
and because we're in Western New York, there really aren't hurricanes here.
Correct.
Right? So in Florida, they kind of like peel off like opening up a tin can, but not so in Western New York. And all of those things will save you money. And again, it's July. If you're going to do something to fix your tax return, timing is everything. Now is when you'd have to take a look at that. How about people that say, I hear that my student loans can be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how can a student loan be forgiven?
If you work for a non-for-profit agency, or if you're a municipal employee like a nurse, a policeman, civil service teacher, and you work for a non-for-profit for 10 years and you make the allotted assigned payment for 10 years, after you make that payment for 10 years, it's gone.
The loan is forgiven.
Yep.
Now, to do this, you have to call the administrator of your student loans.
Full time.
Okay, and you have to work full time. You have to call the administrator of your loan and say, gee, I'm working for ECMC. I'm working for Erie County Hall. I'm working for the state of New York. I'm working for Tonawanda Schools. And then I have a requirement to make that payment timely for 10 years. At the end of the 10 years, it's forgiven.
Right. And then even if you're a person who's struggling to make their payment, there's now income-based averaging, where they'll look at your income and your student loans, and you'll get a reduced rate based on income-based averaging, which is a really good thing. Now, the program that Esther is talking about, the 10 years, you cannot use income-based averaging. I called the holder of the student loan not so long ago. You have to pay the real amount that they want you to pay.
In order to have it forgiven.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
So, again, timing is everything. If you're hearing this for the first time and you're working for a not-for-profit, and maybe you never thought your employer was not-for-profit. You said, heck, it's the state of New York. How can that be not-for-profit? They seem like they keep taking everything. That is true, but they are not-for-profit, right?
Yep. So just call us. We'll let you know.
And you can call EG Tax, and we'll help you to walk through this. So you should be making mental notes. Let's see, I got to get the house, refinance everything, do my second mortgage, want to go get the electric car, put on the new solar roof, and get my student loans get ready to be paid for. Now, let's say that you've been making payments for 10 years, but you haven't asked for them to be forgiven. Will they do it?
They will. They will. I called.
Even though you're doing
you have to get a letter from your employer. Yes, you can do it after the fact.
Somebody should have just hit a tree right now, because you should have heard something that you should. Because so many times everybody's talking about, I want to get my student loans paid off. We're telling you how to do it. Truthfully, if I had large student loan debt, I might even just switch employers.
Right.
I mean, think about it.
Right. Yep.
All right. Other thing.
Or
what
if
you don't have health insurance?
Get health insurance. Right? Chris, what do you say?
Well, if you don't have health insurance, let's look at your income, because with the government, they're going to help pay for it. You may even qualify for free health insurance. Medicaid. You can't.
Different Medicaid today, right?
Totally different Medicaid than what
it isn't your grandma's Medicaid. Okay?
No.
This Medicaid, you can own assets, right, Chris?
Yep, you can own assets. It's just remarkable. I had a client come in earlier this week where she's on Medicaid. She's about 58. She helps take care of her mom, so she really can't work. So she's on Medicaid. She was at a local grocery store, and for the fun of it, she bought a lottery ticket, and she won $87,000. And she goes, what does this mean for my tax return? And I was telling her, and then I said, wait a minute, you're on Medicaid. And she goes, oh, what does that mean with my Medicaid? I called our health navigator, and he even said, oh, well, right now there's ways around that. We don't even have to include it. So she can stay on Medicaid
After winning the lottery.
after winning $87,000.
Hey.
Because her normal income is only like $12,000.
Trevor, in Florida, is it mandated that you have
Yes.
to have health
Oh, yeah.
insurance?
It's a federal law.
Yeah,
It's called,
yeah,
it's
okay.
called
Obamacare.
Yeah, but I know
Obama's the president of the United
Florida goes through the national exchange.
Right.
New York
Because
has
Florida,
their own.
Florida wasn't so keen on the Obamacare,
Mhm.
whereas New York State ate it right up, right?
Mhm.
But I will tell you, if you don't have health insurance, give EG Tax a call. We have our own navigator, and we will help you to get health insurance.
Yep.
And there's no charge.
People will call the office all the time. Oh, can I make an appointment with that guy last year who helped me with my health
Tim.
insurance? Tim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just
All right,
great.
let's go back to the phones. Hey, Dorothy, how can we help you? Hello, Dorothy.
Yes, we're getting a high a furnace, and it's going to be a boiler type backup furnace for us. And I'm just wondering, the price of a high efficiency was about $11,800. The price of a non-high efficiency was $85,000. Can you tell?
$8,500.
You mean 100, not 1,000, right? 100? $8,500, right, Dorothy?
Yeah, $8,500.
All right, okay.
Sorry. I'm just wondering, what would be the tax rate of the high efficiency?
Well, you're looking at a whole $150 credit for the
That's it.
furnace.
That's all.
Oh, never mind.
Either way.
Now, I will say that's completely different if you were to buy an electric vehicle, right? Or some of the
Solar.
renewable heat sources like solar. You're going to get a credit on the federal and the state, but for the furnace, not so much.
Doesn't
And as
make
a
any
matter of fact, it's not only limited to $150 for the furnace, your entire energy credit on your home cannot exceed $500 lifetime. So, okay, Dorothy?
It's not worth it.
All right. Thank you, dear.
You know,
a
and
lot of people say that.
Right, and one thing, you know, we brought up solar. You got to look at these salesmen are good. You know, that's their job. They're selling, and you're going to get 30% on the federal, 25% on the state. Well, some of these people don't even pay taxes,
Right.
So they're not going to get this money back.
Because it's not a refundable
It's not a
credit.
refundable credit.
So you have to be somebody that's actually paying taxes before you get the credit. But again, you know, we were kidding the other day. We were doing a radio show that you really need to invite EG Tax to all your events. Like you should call us and say, you know, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? And then we'll show you about what you're going to make. Just like Dorothy that just called. She thought she was going to save all this money by putting this high efficiency furnace in. Not so true. $150. That's it. Right?
Yep.
But I think what you guys are saying is before you make the investment, just call and ask us. You know?
All right, another thing. Let's say you got kids living in your home, and maybe you have enough child support, and you think it's important for your children to have a parent at home, and you're a single mom or a single dad, and the child support gets you going, and you say, well, you know what, the kids are so young, I'm not going to get a job until they get older. What would be wrong with that scenario?
Auntie Esther is crying right now because if you have kids, if you could just get a part-time job, there's something called the Earned Income Credit and then the Additional Child Tax Credit. And so please get a job.
Get a job.
There's a federal and state
Because
credit
the
that's
federal-
a wonderful credit.
What Tiffany's telling you is true. The federal government wants to send you money, and the state of New York wants to send you money, but you got to have a job.
So what you're saying is the government's paying you to go to
Get
work.
a job. Right. So even if it's for the Christmas season, you know, go get a job. And
Because they're
and
back
so
in
let's
school.
say you make $3,000. The credit you get back is going to be close to
About
$2,000.
Yeah.
So it's like doubling your money. So that's another thing you should take advantage of. Other thing that you should take a look at is the U.S. dollar compared to Canada. Is unbelievable. Now, it used to be the other way around. All the Canadians were over here shopping. It's vice versa now. Going over to Canada, you're going to save about 30%.
I think you went to Niagara on the Lake last weekend.
And I did.
didn't
I
you?
got such a deal on a dress.
And it's a
the
pretty
cutest dress. But it was like $19 after.
Fashion by Esther
Yeah,
Gullius.
but I mean, it was so cute and it was so cheap.
Not to mention that your dinner was cheaper, your
Everything
entertainment.
was cheaper. And I went to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I love Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
You know, so that's another thing. All right, let's go back to the phones, and we'll talk to Dolores. Hey, Dolores, how can we help you?
I have independent health.
Okay.
Plus I have an HSA. Plus I'm 75 and on Medicare.
Okay.
But only the hospital.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I just received a survey, Coordination of Benefits Department from Independent Health.
Uh-huh.
And they are asking a lot of personal questions, and I'm not thrilled with that idea. And it's Corporate Recoveries, and it's Kelly Abdou Saeed, and they want this question. They're asking other insurance coverage. They're asking.
Are you sure that it came from them? You know, it only takes a minute to make a phone call to find out if.
Yeah, call the number on the back of your card.
I would definitely double check before I sent anything like that out.
Yeah, they want workers' compensation.
Yeah, I would call before I filled that out, Dolores. If you're not feeling good about it, anytime something's happening to you financially and you don't feel good about it, don't do it until you double check with somebody.
Have the correct independent health.
Yeah, and Chris is right. Flip over your card and call the number on the card.
I absolutely wouldn't do it until I was sure. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dolores.
Smart.
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to go back to Kingdom Bound right now. We got to work tonight. We do the sales tax returns for all the vendors over there. It's a great ministry. And I know my granddaughter was out till 3 o'clock in the morning last night at a bonfire. That's what she tells me. So until next week, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. Special thanks to Trevor and Dawn Sheldon for coming in. Tiff and Chris, thanks for my guys, Joe and Jay, who help us out in the booth. If you need us, egtax.com. Give us a call anytime. Bye-bye.